Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. We are just gonna hang out today. It is a very cold and very windy and very rainy day here in Jersey, as it is in most of the coastal regions. We have a El Nino, I believe it is, a coastal storm, and it's pretty much been raining off and on since Saturday. But I think today is supposed to be the worst of it. It was supposed to be yesterday and it kind of shifted, but let me tell you, definitely windy. You can tell fall's coming because our yard is starting to fill with leaves. The chickens are not thrilled. They do not care for the rain very much. They're all hiding out under cover, and they do have a lot of protected spaces, a lot of undercover in their coop and run. So luckily we were able to get them out for a while yesterday to run around the yard. We let them in the garden. They had fun. But yeah, we are going to spend this day just resetting everything. I'm out of granola. I think I'm almost out of bagels. I have to evaluate our bread products and see what I need to do. We have an overabundance of eggs right now, so I'm going to make some egg bites. I might make some baked custard if I have time. I know we need sandwich buns. I know we need mayonnaise. I have several jars in my pantry that need to be refilled. So I also need to edit and upload a video. So this is all the things that I want to get done today, since I don't want to go out anywhere in this yucky weather. I do need to go to the post office, but it is a holiday, so the post office isn't open. Doug got all of his thank you notes written, and I was like 5 stamps short. So we bought a whole roll of stamps. I know like a lot of people don't mail stuff anymore, and I honestly don't mail a whole lot of stuff anymore. But when Adam was in boot camp, of course, I was mailing almost a letter a day. So we went through a lot of stamps then. And I thought we had enough to do Doug's thank you notes, and we don't. So I'll have to wait till tomorrow to take care of that. But we're just going to try to get everything reset today. It is chilly in my house, but it's not chilly in my house. Just this weather is making it feel colder. So I have a sweatshirt on and long pants, and I really want to just bump that heat up a little bit and take the chill off. So I may do that. We will see. But yeah, so just hang out with me while we get everything reset, see what we need to do, and move forward. So our first order of business is to get some yogurt going. I'm not going to go through this whole process because you have seen me do it 100 times. I use my Instant Pot. I do have a yogurt setting on my Instant Pot, which makes it super easy. You can also use a crock pot to make yogurt. I have never done that, but I have seen people in videos do it. I know for one, I believe it's the YouTube channel Our Oily House. I believe she makes her yogurt in a crock pot. So you can check that out if you're something you're interested in. I make just plain unsweetened Greek yogurt. You can also throw in a can of sweetened condensed milk into this. And let me tell you, that makes a delicious sweetened yogurt. But we prefer to sweeten it as we eat it with about a teaspoon of honey. All I do is put a gallon of milk into my Instant Pot. Put the lid on. You don't have to worry about the vent because you're not pressure cooking. At this point, when I was editing, that I realized my tripod broke and the camera was pointing down to the countertop. So basically you just hit the boil button and you let it go until the temperature of the milk reaches 185 degrees. I do take the lid off, stir it, and check the temperature several times while the milk is heating. And while the yogurt is starting, I want to get the dishwasher emptied because there are some dirty dishes that need to go back in, and start the day with a empty dishwasher and a clean countertop, because there is going to be a lot of cooking today, and this way, when everything is clean, and empty, we can just keep filling it up again. While I am getting my things done, usually early in the morning when I'm packing lunches and stuff, I listen to this podcast, but I did not listen to it this morning while I was getting lunches packed, so I'm listening to it now. It's a really good podcast. I enjoy it. It's just prayers. That's all it is. No extra talking or anything. Readings of the day, prayers. It's a nice way to start my day. Now we're going to get started on our granola. So in my bowl, I have 6 cups of rolled oats, old-fashioned rolled oats. And to that, I'm adding 2 cups of thin sliced almonds. You can add whatever kind of nuts you like. What I'm making today, sort of, is everybody's favorite combination. The original recipe calls for a cup of sugar. I don't use that much. I use a half a cup of sugar. Then 1 cup of flour. What this does is helps it make the granola clusters. My family likes their granola clustery, chunky, and that's what the flour helps with, along with egg whites. So I'm going to add 2 egg whites. Sometimes I beat them first, sometimes I don't, just depends. And then we're going to add a half a cup of the oil of your choice. I use avocado oil a lot, but I have a lot of coconut oil right now, so that's what I'm using, and it gives it a nice flavor too. So a half a cup of oil of your choice, and then a half a cup of water. Now, normally I like to use almond extract because the flavor is just amazing, but I am out of almond extract at the moment, so we're just going to use vanilla. That works too. A tablespoon of extract, and then 2 teaspoons of salt. And you want to mix this really, really well. You want to make sure all the dry ingredients are moistened. It's not going to be soaking wet. There's not going to be liquid in the bottom of your bowl, but you'll be able to tell when all those dry ingredients are nice and moistened. While you're mixing this up, have your oven preheating to 300 degrees and have a large sheet pan or 2, depending on what you have, lined with parchment paper and ready to go. I'm sure you can see it's holding together, but it's not dripping wet. And just make sure all of that, the oats and the flour that are on the bottom, have gotten mixed in. That looks good. Let's get this on our baking sheet. So I just realized I messed up. I should not be making the yogurt right now because on my list, I wanted to make egg bites today because we're drowning in eggs. And now I can't because the Instant Pot is being used for the next 9 hours or so. Poor planning on my part. You know, this is like the 2nd or 3rd time this has happened. If it wasn't crappy weather, I'd go over my brother's and get his Instant Pot. But, oh well, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I have extra kids tomorrow, one of whom is a little bit older and wants to make a certain kind of Halloween cupcake. So tomorrow is going to be crazy, I am sure. Okay, so we're going to spread that out as evenly as possible, and then I take my hands and pat it down. This also helps with getting those nice granola clusters or chunks. And then we're going to pop this in a 300-degree oven for 20 minutes. We're going to take it out and we're going to flip the granola, stir it, flip it, whatever, I'll show you. then put it back in for another 20 to 30 minutes until it's light brown and starting to dry out. So we're gonna get this in the oven. If you saw my weekend vlog, I made 1 tablespoon servings of tomato paste that was left over, and they are completely frozen now. So I'm just gonna put them in a bag, mark what they are, and pop them back in the freezer. And then when I need just a little bit of tomato paste for a recipe, I have it. Because when you open that can and only need a tablespoon, you certainly don't want to waste it. So we'll just mark it. And pop that right back in the freezer. While things are fermenting and baking and all that, I'm just gonna take a quick minute to eat some breakfast. I have 2 dippy eggs, 1 slice of sourdough toast, and 1 piece of sausage, and of course, a cup of tea. Today's tea is Harney & Sons Paris. Okay, it's out from the first bake. I just like to take my big spatula and kind of flip it over. Start at the end. You just have to watch. I have 2 pieces of parchment on here, so sometimes it gets a little mixed up. You just do the best you can. It does not have to be perfect. As you can see, mine is certainly not. But just try to get as much of it turned over as you can. You can also make this with honey. If you make it with honey, you really have to keep an eye on it because the honey does burn much faster than the sugar. But if you want to go for completely unprocessed, definitely do the honey. I try to use the best sugar I can. I use an organic cane sugar. But honey would be ideal. Okay, this is going to go back in for another 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, the Instant Pot just beeped, so I am going to give it a stir and check the temperature. We are right at 183. I like it to be 185. So I'm just going to pop the saute button on, and that just heats up the pot a little bit. Till we get up to that 185. And while that's getting up, I'm going to put a couple of inches of cool water in the sink because that is the way I like to cool this down. Okay, we have our pot of yogurt, and I am just going to set this in the sink with a couple inches of cool water. And it generally takes anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes to cool down to 110 degrees. You do not have to cool it this way. You can just let it sit to cool naturally, but I like to move things along a little bit. So we're just gonna let this, I'm gonna set a timer for 20 minutes and check the temperature at that point. Okay, I feel that we are moving right along. The yogurt is in the pot. The granola is made. Egg bites we can't do. Sandwich buns, mayo, refill our pantry staples. I think I need to make taco seasoning, but I am out of smoked paprika, I believe. I didn't do a good job of checking when we went out to Lancaster, because that's where I like to get that. I need to still edit, and I need to answer comments. And as far as my daily tasks, I fed the animals, and that is all I've done so far for my daily tasks. Next, I'm going to turn back a page. I am in zone 1 this week. This is sort of my house maintenance. It's loosely based on Fly Lady. So I spend 15 minutes each day just trying to do some of these tasks. Certainly not doing anything on the porch today because it's raining. But I can definitely take care of a few things in the foyer and definitely take care of a few things in the dining room. We'll see what, I do need to clean out the coat closet. So maybe that will be my task for today. We will see. But we're gonna get back to this list, and I think I'm gonna get the sandwich buns started, and then while the dough is rising, I will take time and start my editing. The granola is out and looking good, so now I'm just gonna let it sit here and cool down completely, because as it cools, it will crisp up. Yeah, our milk cooled down to 110 degrees, so I dried off the bottom of the pot. And now I'm just adding in a couple of tablespoons of yogurt. Yes, you need yogurt to make yogurt. This is just yogurt that I made last week. You can absolutely use commercial yogurt as long as it has live active cultures. One of the things I do as soon as I make a new batch of yogurt, I have a designated container that I put yogurt in, so I always have yogurt to start yogurt. And I usually do it about, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. And then I will buy a little thing of commercial yogurt to start it with, because I think it weakens over time. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like it. So then we're just going to put the lid back on. Like I said, you don't have to do it to sealing or anything. And then I'm going to hit the yogurt button. And we like it incubated for 8 hours. That's all there is to it. Okay, our granola is done. It looks great. It's nice and crisp. Now, some of the pieces are too big, so I just kind of go in and make them a little bit smaller. I know how my family likes to eat them. They like them in their yogurt, so they can't be too big. We also eat this as cereal, just in a bowl with milk. So you don't want them too big, but you definitely want some clusters. And then we're going to add in our dried fruit. This is an optional step, of course. You don't have to put it in. You're trying to save some calories. But we are going to put in some dried cranberries. Probably about a cup and a half. And then we're going to just put it in our jar, and it'll be ready for, this usually lasts me about 2 weeks, I think, depending on how many people eat it as cereal. If they're just eating in their yogurt, it definitely lasts 2 weeks. But if we're eating it as cereal, it goes a little bit quicker. Okay, I just store it in a big glass gallon jar. We got a backup here. I like making granola because, number one, I can customize it to my family's likes, and I can put the ingredients in it that I want in it. We are not 100% organic around here, but there are certain things that I will only do organic, and one of them is oats, because that is one of the biggest highly sprayed crops around. And if you've ever tried to buy organic granola with really good ingredients, you know how expensive it is. And honestly, this does not cost a whole lot to make this big, huge jar. So another task off the list for today. Okay, next thing up on the agenda is cleaning out the freezer. I have to do this more times than I can count. I try to keep it as neat and organized as I can. And I usually do, but you know, when you live in a house with other people, sometimes it's not so easy. I have 4 bins in the freezer, 1 for bread products, 1 for vegetable products, 1 for fruit products, and 1 for meat products. Things don't always get back in there. So I have to it doesn't take long. It's just like 10 minutes. You know, it's not bad. Just a quick straighten up. I've got some sandwich bread. I've got bagels, English muffins. I've also got 2 pie crusts, some pizza dough, commercial pizza dough, and some tortillas. So quick and easy. And in the bread bin were peppers and blueberries. They don't belong in there, so they're coming out and they'll go in the next bin. Okay, so this is the fruit bin. But as you can see, there's a bagel, there's some chicken nuggets. Oh, look, and then we actually hit the fruit. So I've just got frozen bananas in here. Somebody did not shut the freezer all the way and things got a little bit frosty. So we can just put that. We've got some frozen strawberries, frozen pineapple chunks. I use all these for smoothies. Boom, done. My next bin is vegetables. We have been like having a million peppers coming out of the garden. And every time I process them, I just throw them in this freezer when they really belong downstairs. So I am just taking all the peppers out of here. Oh, we got some fruit. Strawberry tops. And lots of peppers in here. Oh my goodness. And then some onions. So what I'll do is I'll keep some pepper strips, some chopped peppers, and those onions and the tomato paste up here, and everything else is going to go downstairs into the deep freeze because there is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things of peppers. So once again, easy peasy, just a quick straighten up. And the last bin is the meat bin. I have bags of sausage that I keep up here because we use those for breakfast. And then there's just some more. Here's some chicken sausage. I didn't mark this, so I have no idea what kind of sausage this is. One of these days I'm going to cook it up. Oh, strawberry tops belong in the other bin. And here is a beef bone for broth. So once again, just straightening that up, taking out what doesn't belong, and it'll go right back into the freezer. Okay, while I was cleaning out the freezer, I found my super cubes, which are full of, well, soup. Totally forgot that I shouldn't say I forgot. I see them every day, but you know how when you see something, sometimes you don't see it? So I have chicken noodle soup that I froze. So we are going to get this out of the super cubes, and we're going to get it into our food saver, our vacuum sealer, I should say. This is not a Food Saver brand. These are 1 cup cubes. So I'm going to do 2 cups of soup in each one. I'm going to put it right in my vac sealer. this vac sealer, because it's a commercial grade model, it can do liquid soup. But I didn't have the time the day I made this to pull out the machine and everything, so I just dumped it into the super cubes, and now I'll just seal it like this. It takes 25 seconds of vacuum time, and then it seals it for 4 minutes. You can set it for different settings for different types of food. Liquid, you definitely do a different setting. I always just pull out the manual, and then it's going to seal it, or yeah, vac seal it, and then seal the opening. And there's our soup. So I'm going to go do, I have, I think 8 blocks of it. I'm going to go do the rest of this, get this in the freezer. And I think, something that's not on the agenda today, I think we might make pear sauce, because I think my pears are ripe. There's a couple of them that are already starting to go bad, so I need to deal with those today, because I certainly don't want to lose them. So I think we're going to can up a batch of pear sauce. Okay, I have a 20-pound box of pears. First thing I'm going to do is get them in the sink and wash them. Then I'm going to quarter them and start cooking them. I'm not going to worry about peeling them or coring them or de-stemming them, because that will be done through the food mill. So first thing I want to do is get them all washed up. Okay, had to go change my shirt because it started getting a little bit warm in here, and with the canner going and the pears going, it's really going to get warm. So to prepare my pears, I washed them, and now I'm just going to quarter them. Like I said, I'm not going to take out the seeds. I'm not going to take off the skin. That'll happen in the food mill. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use my electric food mill on my KitchenAid or just do it by hand. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling doing it by hand today. So we're just going to get all these done. They're not all going to fit in the pot, so I'll probably do 2 batches. So I just don't feel like having 2 pots going. And honestly, I don't mind doing 2 batches. Sometimes I find this kind of work just cathartic. I sit here, put on a podcast, listen to the podcast, and just work in the kitchen. It's very rare when I have such a quiet house, so might as well take advantage of it. Andrew is off today, but he is out, and everybody else is working, so, except me. I'm going to put in about 2 cups of water. You don't need a whole lot of water because these are going to release water, but you don't want them sticking to the bottom. And then we're going to cook these down until they're nice and soft, and then we're going to put them through the food mill, and then we cook them again. Okay, the pears are done cooking. They do not take long at all. Now, I am putting on a glove. Yes, this is a slicing glove. It is not a... it's just a slicing glove, but I need something. You can tell it's a slicing glove. There's holes in it because I get blisters when I use this. I have a Foley mill. I have the attachment for my KitchenAid, but I also have this, and I really like using this. I like the results. So I just put it over a bowl, put in my pears. I did drain these pretty well. You can see how nice and cooked they are. They're falling apart. And then you just use the tamper and have at it. This will remove all the skins, the seeds, the stems, and everything, and just leave us with the pear pulp, the pear sauce. So I am going to stand, and work on this. I have another pot going on the stove. And once I get all of the pears mashed down into sauce, we'll cook them again and get them canned up. And all this will either go into the compost or out to the chickens. You can see there's really beautiful pulp. You can just scrape right down into your bowl. If I keep going, it'll fall, but I like to scrape it down because I get excited to see all that deliciousness. So I'm going to keep going here, empty this out every couple times, and then we'll get it canned up. Okay, all the pear sauce is processed through the mill, and now it is on the stove, and I'm just going to let it cook for a little bit just to thicken up a little bit. I did taste it, and it is absolutely delicious. No sugar added. Does not need it. It is perfect the way it is. So I'm just going to let it cook for a little bit, and then we'll get it in the jars and in the canner. So we do the pear sauce just like the applesauce. We are going to fill the jars to within a 1/2 inch headspace. This is definitely looser than applesauce. The pears are definitely juicier than the applesauce. And it is pears. It has lots of natural sugar. So you want to make sure you get those rims wiped really well. Check your headspace for a 1/2 inch. Perfect. We're going to get our lids on there. You know, the only kind of lids I use are 4 jars lids. I never have failures with 4 jars lids. Put that lid on, and we're going to get it back in the canner. Oh, I need to make room. And we are just going to keep going with our pear sauce till the canner is full, or until I run out of pear sauce, whichever comes first. And yes, I did forget to debubble that first one. I'm so bad about that. But these ones are good. Debubbled, perfect headspace. I'm sure the first one was fine too. Get them clean. Get them in the canner. I warmed 9 jars, and I did about 18 pounds of pears. Honestly, I'm not sure what this is going to yield me sauce-wise. Hopefully I can fill at least 9 jars. I don't really know. We'll see. Okay, we have 8 jars in the canner. That's what fits comfortably. 9 is just too tight for me. So we're going to lower our rack. And there is way too much water in there. You just need to cover it by 1 inch. So I'm just going to take some out because it'll take forever to come up to the boil. So we're going to get rid of some of that. I thought I overfilled it earlier, but I wasn't sure. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. One more should do it. That looks good. Okay, we are going to turn our burner up. We are going to bring this to a rolling boil. Then let it boil for 20 minutes processing time. So we'll see it soon. Okay, the pear sauce is done processing, and they sat for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to get them out of here, put them on a towel. We're going to move on to burger buns. So 18 pounds of pears made just a little over 9 pints. I canned 8 of the pints. That's what fit comfortably in the canner. The other pint I'm just going to throw in the fridge, and we're going to have that for dinner later this week. And then there was a little bowl left that I've been picking on for my lunch. So I am thrilled with the way it turned out and can't wait to get it on the shelves and eat it over the winter. I'd love to get my hands on more pears and make another batch or 2, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens. Okay, we're gonna get started on the burger buns, and of course, well, I call them burger buns because that's what they're called, but we use them for just sandwich buns. Like all our sandwiches get put on these pretty much. The recipe came from Homesteading with the Zimmerman's channel. Forgot to turn the camera on, of course, shocking. In my bowl, 1 cup of milk, 3/4 cup of water, half a cup of melted fat. You can use butter, tallow, lard, oil, whatever. I am using avocado oil today. 3 tablespoons of honey and a teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna mix. I should have mixed it right in the pan. I don't even know what I was thinking. I wasn't. You wanna heat this to 105 degrees. So I'm gonna put it in the pan. We're gonna heat it to 105. And then we're gonna move on. You can heat it in the microwave too if you want. I'm just gonna throw it in the pan and heat it up on the stove real quick. To 105 degrees. If you use nice warm water, it does not take long at all to heat. Our liquids are heated to 105, actually more like 110, but the bowl of the mixer will cool it right down. It'll be fine. We're gonna pour that in there. I am using my Bosch mixer. I tend to gravitate towards my Bosch mixer when I am making bread or when I am making a big batch of chocolate chip cookies. Then to that, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of instant yeast. I'm gonna give that a quick stir. And then we're gonna let that sit about 5 to 7 minutes until the yeast activates and becomes foamy. Our yeast is looking nice and bubbly. So to that, we are gonna add in 2 cups of flour, and we're gonna give that a quick mix. And then we're gonna add in 3 cups more. We're gonna let that mix for a minute, and then we're gonna crank up our machine to 2, and we're gonna let it knead for about 8 minutes. Okay, our dough rose beautifully. I think I forgot, I was dealing with my tripod broke. I have the worst luck with tripods. So after it was done for 8 minutes kneading, I put it in a bowl, covered it, and let rise for 10 minutes. It was nice and risen and puffy. I just punched it down, and now I'm going to roll it out. But right now I do not have a tripod, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Okay, so now we're just going to roll out our dough to about a 1/2 inch thickness. You just want to make sure it's nice and even. Mine never is, not gonna lie. My cameraman is yawning. Did you hear that? I had to call Andrew down to film for me since I broke my tripod. Looks like I'll be jumping on Amazon to get a new one. And now I can't find my cutter. Okay, we're gonna take a wide mouth mason jar lid, and that is what I'm gonna use for my cutter. Because for us, these are the perfect size for burgers, for sandwiches. I also have an oval cutter because I use the same recipe for hot dog buns, and I am not good at shaping them. So I bought a really cool like oval cutter, and that's what I use. But we're just gonna go and cut all these out. I'm gonna place them on a parchment lined baking sheet. I'm gonna cover them and let them rise. You can put them barely touching. I'm gonna cover them and I'm gonna let them rise for 30 minutes. And then we are going to cook them in a 375-degree oven for about 12 minutes. And when they come out, you can either brush them with an egg wash, but I like to spread a little bit of butter on the top just to make them soft and give them a nice shine. I'll show you after they rise and before they go in the oven. Okay, these are super quick, super easy, and I have 20 sandwich buns that are going to rise for a half an hour, and then we'll get them baked, let them cool, get them in the freezer, and then we'll have those for sandwiches and stuff. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. These are looking fantastic. I am going to pop them in the oven at 375 for about 12 minutes, and we'll check them then. Okay, just pulled the rolls out of the oven. The other tray is still in there. I had that in the top oven and it's a little bit slower. So I'm just gonna take a piece of butter and just really, really quick. I'm not gonna saturate them. I'm just gonna rub it over the top of each roll and give it a little bit of shine and a little bit of softness. Sometimes I do an egg wash before I bake them, but this one got funky. It's a funky shape. It'll be fine. But lately I've been doing this and I kind of like it a little bit better. So that's it. Now I'm going to get them off of the sheet and let them cool completely. Kim just called me. She's like, your video, your weekend vlog just cut off in the middle. This is the second time that's happened to me. It happened once last month and I'm not sure why. I mean, it's my own fault for not double checking it. I mean, I watch it all the way through. I upload it. I should have noticed it didn't say 58 minutes, but I didn't. But I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know if it's on my end or if it's on YouTube's end, but I took it down and now we're uploading it again. Doug is home from work and he went outside to collect eggs and also give the chickens some eggshells that I baked for him. And one of the chickens, actually one of the young girls, bum rushed the door and got out, and she does not. Oh, there she goes. Maybe she'll go back in now. He's been chasing her around the yard for a little bit, but it looks like she's gonna go back in now. Yep, he's got her. He's got her. Always an adventure here, I can tell you that. I am going to get started on dinner now. You will see dinner next week in a video. It is a new recipe tonight. It is cheesy broccoli chicken orzo or something. I don't know, it looked good. So that is what we are making tonight. So you will see that next week, but I'll show it to you on the plate. Here it is on the plate, cheesy chicken broccoli orzo. Pretty much chicken divan, but with orzo instead of rice. So everybody said it's good, so we'll go with that. Okay, last thing for the night. I decided to go ahead and make the egg bites. The yogurt has a half an hour left, so we're just going to do it. So for the egg bites, I have 6 eggs. And then we're going to add in 2 ounces of cheddar cheese. Shred it. We're going to add in 3/4 of a cup of yogurt, Greek yogurt. My angle's okay here. I have my human tripod. And then we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of cottage cheese. And then let me get the salt. Forgot the salt. Thought I had everything out. And we are gonna blend this up. for about 30 seconds. Okay. Set that aside, get out your egg molds. I always grease mine because, well, mine always stick. Today we are going to put some ham in the bottom. Sometimes I use bacon, sometimes I use sausage, sometimes I use Canadian bacon, sometimes I use mushrooms, whatever you feel like. If Doug would like me to saute up some peppers, I'll do that.
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay, then we won't be able to finish these right now. And I'll have to have a different cameraman come down. Because Doug's got to go work on Deacon stuff. So you get this point so far. So I'm going to release him. Chop up one more piece of ham. And we're going to get some peppers going. And then I'll show you how to finish these. We have 20 minutes until the yogurt's done anyway. I am going to saute up some green peppers to add to our egg bites. It will be delicious. So the next step is filling the molds. I go about 3/4 of the way up with the egg mixture. Give or take. You don't want to put too much of any kind of filling in because then it breaks up the egg. It doesn't hold together. And I do tend to overdo that. So I'm going to go fill up the other one and then I'll show you how we put them in the Instant Pot. Okay, yogurt is done. So I am going to put about half of it in my yogurt strainer. I think I've mentioned before, I was really cheap and bought the half-gallon yogurt strainer. I wish I had spent the money and bought the whole gallon one, but I didn't. I was cheap. Now I'm paying the price. So this will sit for about 18 hours. It'll strain out and become delicious Greek yogurt. Normally I leave the rest of the yogurt in the Instant Pot and just throw it in the refrigerator, but I need my Instant Pot insert for the egg bites. So I'm going to put that in a bowl. I just make more dishes for myself, but I'll show you what we do with the egg bites. Okay, I have my rack and I have my two things stacked on top of each other, kind of offset. And then...
Sorry, I'm just watching.
Adam's just watching. And then I'm going to put the lid on, maybe one-handed here. Turn it to close, it's closed. And then we're going to hit the steam button for 8 minutes. And that's all there is to some egg bites. Okay, they are out of the Instant Pot and I let them cool for a little bit. For some reason, I didn't have enough batter and I don't know why. It's always perfect. Maybe the eggs were a little smaller, I'm not sure. And now I'm just gonna turn these over, flip them out and let them cool completely. Can't do that one-handed, so I'll show you when they're out on the rack. Okay, they are out of the molds. This mold came out perfect. They look beautiful. This one, a little bit of an issue there, but it's okay. It'll still taste delicious. I'm gonna let them cool completely before I put them in the breakfast containers. So my friends, that is it for me. I am done and dusted for the day. Done and dusted. Tired. Dinner was good. I told you it was a new recipe tonight. I think I put a little clip of it in, but you'll see the whole thing next week in my 5 meals video. Yeah, so that's it for my day. Thanks for hanging out with me all day. I got a lot done. Now I am sitting on my butt watching the Flyers game, and because we've moved on to hockey. Sadly, we've moved on to hockey. So I'm sitting here watching the Flyers game and probably going to hit the hay early tonight. Doug's upstairs working on his stuff. The boys are doing whatever the boys do. And yeah, so thanks again for hanging out with me. Thanks again for watching. And I will catch you guys. Wait a minute. I was supposed to show you a picture. And I said I would put it in this weekend vlog, and I just remembered. So I will put that picture that I talked about last week, the one that we recreated, I will put it in right here. Isn't that the funniest thing? I love it. I just thought, I love like Adam's like kind of in the same position. Andrew's kind of got his mouth open and Kyle's got the funny face. So I love it. I think it just turned out so good. I love those recreating pictures anyway. But anyway, that is it. I'll have to remember sometime later this week to show you a couple pictures that Adam did with AI. They're unbelievable. So I will catch you guys in the next video.